Yes. What's happening, everybody? It is Friday. We just had the weigh-ins for UFC Vegas 84, and everything went pretty much according to plan until the very end when Manel Kape took the full 2 hours and then weighed in at 129.5 pounds, missing by 3.5 pounds in the flyweight division, which is a very big miss. It's over 2.5% of the contracted weight. So big deal here. You know, we've got a situation where I thought that the fight was going to be called off, and I was looking for a new leg in the parlay because Manel Kape's your Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the week. But if he's missing by 3.5 pounds and the fight happens, I think that probably benefits Kape, you know, because it means that he didn't cut those 3.5 pounds that are the hardest to cut when you're a flyweight. So, what we do have to worry about here, though, is we definitely have to worry about there maybe being an injury, or the fact that maybe Kape just didn't train that much. Maybe he's buying into his own hype and he thinks that he doesn't need to work hard in order to win at the level that he's at right now in the UFC, which is the level of a top 10 UFC flyweight. So we're going to find out a lot about Manel Kape tomorrow night in Las Vegas, Nevada here, because this is it's a bad harbinger for people who have a ton of money on Kape. I personally picked him for the ass shaving of the week. I have a bet on him to win by knockout at plus 215 that I got earlier in the week on Bet Online Sportsbook. But this kind of throws a wrench into the works, and it's going to be interesting to see what Manel Kape shows up tomorrow night in Las Vegas here. But welcome, everybody. It's your Uncle Weezy. It's Friday. We just had the weigh-ins, and we've got 12 fights contracted for tomorrow night at the Apex in Las Vegas, Nevada, UFC Vegas 84, headlined by Johnny Walker versus Magomed Ankalaev. And I got a 4-leg parlay for you guys, checking in at plus 530-ish right now on DraftKings Sportsbook. So let's first start by looking at the 4 legs of this parlay. And then we'll talk to you guys in the chat and see what you think of it here. But I'm going to start by sharing my screen with you guys here. And I've got DraftKings Sportsbook up on the screen. You would probably be able to get better lines right now on other books compared to DraftKings. But the first leg of this parlay is one that you can really only get at DraftKings. And it is the Taylor Lapolis plus 3.5 points handicap. It is minus 120. This is your Uncle Weezy's Bootsy Collins Memorial Dogs Are Barking pick of the week here. I think that this is going to be a very close fight. Taylor Lapolis has excellent takedown defense and a very good get-up game, and his striking at distance is very, very good, way above average for the division, in my opinion. And I kind of feel like if he's able to keep this fight standing, that he could actually win this fight. My pick is Farid Basharat to win this fight by decision, but I think it's going to be a very close fight. And I think that Lapolis wins at least one of these rounds, especially the round where he keeps the fight standing for the longest, because he's a smooth striker, a southpaw, very accurate with his jab, a very fast and powerful straight left hand right down the pipe. And I think Farid's really going to have to wrestle aggressively here in order to make Taylor uncomfortable. And Taylor is somebody that has seen that game plan for his entire pro career, which spans many years longer than Farid Basharat against much tougher competition. So we're going to go right here to Taylor Lapolis plus 3.5 here at minus 120, which is on the Fight Lines main page here at DraftKings. That's going to be leg number 1. It just means that Taylor Lapolis, even if he loses 29-28 on all 3 judges' scorecards, you take that 29 for Basharat, 28 for Lapolis. That means that Basharat wins by 1 point on that judge's scorecard. And if it's 29-28 on all 3, it means he only wins by 3 points. Basharat needs to win by 4 points or more in order for this bet not to cash, or he needs to finish Taylor Lapolis. And if he does that, he'll be the first person to ever finish Taylor Lapolis in his 20-plus fight career. So Taylor Lapolis plus 3.5 points handicap at minus 120 is leg 1 of this week's parlay. Leg number 2 is going to be the Semelsberger-Parsons fight doesn't go to decision at -200. Flat out, my prop template does not like this bet. Only 3 of 9 Semelsberger fights have finished inside the distance, and only 1 of 3 for Parsons. So 4 of 12, or only 33% of their UFC fights have finished inside the distance. But we saw something very curious happen when this line was opened on BetOnline. BetOnline, one of the sharpest books that there is out there on the street. They've got a narrow vig, so it's a good book to play on. But what they're doing is they're kind of tipping their hand when they open lines, and they're what they're doing is they're tipping it towards where they think this fight is going to take place, how they think it's going to end. And what we saw was when this under 1.5 was sitting here around plus 128, plus 125, plus 130, we got a 43.86% implied probability, and about 33% of UFC fights that are 170 pounds scheduled for 3 rounds finish under 1.5 rounds. So when we see how the lines that are going to be priced around that are, we kind of look to the divisional benchmarks, right? And we could see that 33% for the under 1.5 and 50.27% on the long term for 170 pounds is the finish rate, right? So you would expect this line to be about 17% more expensive than this line. And right now it's about 20% more expensive. So, they are tipping their hand that they do think that this fight finishes inside the distance. But this line, which is at minus 175 right now on BetOnline, opened at minus 325. So this was BetOnline telling you that they didn't even want any action on the fight doesn't go to decision here. Very curious thing. It's a very similar situation in the Arlovsky-Cortez Acosta fight, where you have a fight goes to decision sitting around plus 190, but it was at plus 250 earlier in the week. And, to pay minus 325, which is where they opened it for this fight, when only 29% of their combined 27 UFC fights have finished inside the distance, it just goes to show you that they don't care what the past performance is. They know what's going to happen this time, and they have a strong lean about it. And they're tipping their hat to you that they expect violence in this fight. So I am giving you guys, even though it's minus 175 on BetOnline right now, the best we can do here on DraftKings, because that's where we have to do the parlay, because that's the only one that has the plus 3.5. I believe it's plus 200 right here. But yeah, or minus 200. So yeah, minus 200 fight to finish inside the distance for Semelsberger Parsons. This is very clearly a striker versus grappler matchup. While this is on the feet, Semelsberger is going to be very live to land big shots that drop Parsons and potentially end the fight. And if Parsons is able to get takedowns and put Semelsberger on his back, Parsons is very, very aggressive with his submission attempts. We can see right here exactly what I'm talking about in the numbers for both of these guys, right? Over here, if I increase on this, there we go. Preston Parsons is attempting 3.55 submissions per 15 minutes. So when he gets fights down, he's actively trying to finish them. Matt Semelsberger is landing a knockdown on 3% of the distance strikes that he's landing. So wherever this fight is, you guys, as long as it's not even just like with somebody with their back on the cage the whole time. And even then, Semelsberger throws some really nasty stuff in the clinch. You can see him get finishes on the regional scene where he's knocking dudes out standing from the clinch position. So wherever this fight ends up, either Parsons or Semelsberger is going to be very dangerous. Numbers be damned. We are playing the stylistic read of this fight, and we're picking the fight doesn't go to decision for leg number 2 at minus 200. Not the best line, but the most important thing is that all 4 of these legs cash so that we win this bet. Leg number 3 on this one now, you guys, is going to be the Waldo Cortez Acosta to win in rounds 1 or 2 at minus 140. We're looking at a Andre Arlovsky here that makes a ton of money just to show up, and he doesn't get win bonuses anymore. So, this guy's chin has been shot for a very long time. And they've been putting him out there against guys that don't really have power. Guys like Chase Sherman, guys like Felipe, guys like Jared Vandera, Tanner Bozer in the heavyweight division, guys that he can just kind of go out there and point fight with. He wins some, he loses some. But we saw Dante Mays knock out this gentleman in his last fight. And Dante Mays is about as slow and as unpowerful as it gets at the heavyweight division. You know, you can time Dante Mays' overhand right on a sundial, everybody. So if Dante Mays is knocking you out, Waldo Cortez Acosta is probably going to do the exact same thing. I think he's going to be aggressive. I think he's going to go out there and knock this dude out in the very first round or the second round. I'm looking for Waldo Cortez Acosta to use Andrei Arlovski as a stepping stone, kind of get a violent early win against this guy so that he can announce himself to the heavyweight division. And I think he's a very good prospect, excellent boxing, really good durability and really good conditioning. And if he can keep fights standing, I think that Waldo Cortez Acosta is going to look very good for a long time to come here. I just don't see it with Arlovski anymore, you guys. He's not powerful at all. There's really nothing to fear. So I think Waldo can kind of be very aggressive and go out there and look to finish this fight. And because the durability concerns for Arlovski at the age of 44 are definitely out there, I think it's easy to just say let's pick Waldo to get it done and get it done early here. So if we go to Fight Parlay, we're going to go to winner and group of rounds under Fight Parlays here. And Waldo Cortez Acosta to win in rounds 1-2 is minus 140 here. That brings our parlay up to plus 371. And leg number 4, Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the week, Manel Kape, minus 278. Look, that's a better price than what we were getting earlier. So instead of 533, we're now going to get plus 541 here on DraftKings Sportsbook. I'm surprised. I'm frankly surprised that Nicolao's camp allowed him to take this fight. He cut the weight. It clearly wasn't an easy weight cut because Nicolao didn't show up to the scale until at least an hour and a half into the 2-hour allotment to weigh in. So to have Kape disrespect the weight cut that much and go out there and miss by that much, I'm surprised they're only taking 25% of his person that they're showing up for this fight, but who knows? Manel Kape might be injured, but the great thing is here, you guys, is this gives us a lot of time to hedge out because minus 278 is a fat line, but we can get plus 225 on Nicolao, and we can guarantee ourselves a profit if the first 3 legs of this cash. And I would recommend that we do that because of the weight miss for Kape. It's something narrative-wise that kind of throws a wrench into the works and doesn't allow us to just sit back and trust our stylistic read for this fight. Kape showed up heavy, could be injuries, could be a bad training camp. He could be lazy, or it could just be that he knew that he wasn't going to make weight and he decided to wait for the full time, make it look like he was tired, make it look like, hey, I'm sorry, the weight, I just stopped sweating. I don't know what happened. Apologies, that's on me. And then he doesn't have to worry about cutting those last 3.5 pounds. He doesn't go through the hellacious part of the weight cut. And then he comes in a lot better, a lot bigger, and a lot more durable than Nicolao, who did cut the weight, and that he can, take advantage of that durability differential and that power differential that he has on the feet here. So I'm going to stick with Uncle Weezy's ass shaving of the week because I thought that they were going to call this fight off. But since they didn't, let's take advantage of the fact that he's heavy. Let's take advantage of the fact that he didn't cut the weight. And maybe if there wasn't an injury and this was kind of a planned thing for him to help him get an even easier win, then let's hope that plan worked out for him and that we come out smelling on the other end like a rose, winning this parlay, cashing it at plus 533. But it was 533. Now it's actually plus 541 due to the weight miss. So I'm going to throw a half unit on this parlay. And let's hear what you guys have to say in the chat here. We We've got Grateful Dude first in the room saying, "Oi, yes, what's up, Grateful Dude? Always good to see you hanging out in here." We got my guy Lone Wolf DFS in the room saying, "What's up, Weezy? Let's go, Lone Wolf." Thank you for hanging out with us today. We got Ben Ryder saying, "Thanks for everything. Appreciate you, Ben. Thank you for hanging out." We got I Am the True Walrus in the room saying, "Oi, what is up, dude?" We got Jester in the room saying, "Sup, Unc?" We got Patrick Wilkins out here saying, "Let's get paid today, Weezy." Let's go, Patrick. Mark Frost saying, "Let's go, Weezy." My guy JP Taylor in the room saying, "Oi, Weezy." Shaking my head for Kape. Yeah, me too, man. It's too late for me to change the ass shaving of the week pick. And it's a big enough weight miss that I think that hopefully this doesn't actually affect Kape on fight day. But we'll see, man. Mateus Nicolau is a professional. He's a top 10 UFC flyweight. He's got really good grappling, great submission game, good counter striking, and good power when he does land. So, he's definitely live here, and he's a very good fighter. So let's hope that Kape brings his A game tomorrow night. Yeah, Kape didn't even try to cut. He's a mercurial dude, Kape. He's definitely kind of like, a bit of a head case, a bit of a wild man, a bit of a wild card. You don't know what to expect from him. You don't want to let go of that mic when you're interviewing him after a win, and he'll just do some dumb shit. He looks like, I don't know, man. I don't know about Manel Kape, dude. He's a bit of a prick, man. He's a bit of a wild man. We got JP Taylor saying weight misses used to favor the heavier fighter. It seems like that is changing. Do you have any numbers on this, Weezy? No, I don't. I have everything in my database that's listed as a catch weight fight. But I don't have any numbers on, in terms of, who missed weight, how that, affected, because the one thing I don't have in my database are opening and closing lines. So that would be an important part to have in order to be able to do that data analysis. That is not information that I have access to at the moment. So, yeah, were you surprised we didn't get a better number on Lapolis plus 3.5 at minus 120? Yes, I'm surprised, because fucking Lapolis is plus 250 on the money line. And then these guys are saying plus 3.5 is minus 120. We go from plus 250 to minus 120 on the plus 3.5 points handicap. I know that the fight is supposed to go to the decision at a big rate, but I mean, I don't understand how Basharat could possibly be, a minus 278 favorite if they think that Lapolis has a chance to win one round on every judge's scorecard more than 50% of the time. That doesn't make any sense to me. So I don't know how I'm going to play this officially. I really thought that I'd be getting something in the neighborhood of plus 140, plus 150 on this line. But BetOnline kind of opened it at plus 120. And then it just, money came in on it right there. I mean, I was like, I thought that was terrible. I thought that was a piss poor opener. So I didn't even try to hit it. I'm just like, I'm going to wait for DraftKings and whoever else to open this, because they're just clearly trying to get out of the way. But people even jumped on it at that number. So that's why I had to put it in this, because I mean, this is one of my favorite bets of the week, but the price is just absurd. And, as a long-term winning gambler, you really have to be very concerned about where they're pricing these things. So it pisses me off. I think that should be plus money with how much, people got Basharat at like almost 75% implied to win this fight. And then you're telling me Lapolis plus 3.5 is minus 120. I mean, that's a 53% implied probability. I don't know, man. It's pretty wild to me. Pretty wild. I'm very surprised, and I think pissed off is a better term, JP, about how I feel about that line. I'm loving Walker plus 5.5 at plus 255. I'd like it more if I didn't think that there was such a high probability of a finish. But with Ankalaev, you can never count on a finish. He's just too lazy. And that's the best word I can come up with, Ankalaev. He's too lazy. He doesn't wrestle enough. He doesn't throw enough, and he doesn't seem to understand where he's better and kind of do what you would expect a smart fighter to do in those situations, which is exploit the weakness of his opponent rather than fight where he's most comfortable. So I get it, man. I think Walker's live, you guys. I really do. At these numbers, Ankalaev just doesn't put his foot on the gas enough, and he does dumbass shit. You know, if he pulls another knee while this dude is down, he's getting disqualified this time. And the Walker tickets are going to pay off. So, yeah, man, do with that what you will. I mean, I think Walker at plus 400 on the money line is something I might even sprinkle just for a quarter unit to try to win one, because I just don't think that Magomed Ankalaev, as good as he is at what he does and as impressive of a fighter as he is, I mean, he's just not the guy I ever want to lay that kind of money on, because the guy he just seems to take rounds off. He seems to, you know, just not care about when he's better than somebody, and just like you keep like saying when you have money on this guy, like, do something, Magomed. Put your fucking foot on the gas. Act like you're better than this guy. Act like you know you're better than this guy. And he just doesn't do that. So I'm with you, Jester. I think any kind of Walker bets this week, they're plus money enough that you can just sprinkle them and then just be like, laugh it off a little bit if you lose. You know, if Ankalaev actually chooses to show up and put his foot on the gas, you could be like, hey, congratulations, Magomed, you know, and you lose a quarter unit or something. So, yeah, I'm with you, man. We got Papa Chuck saying, yo, Unc, long time no see. Having two boys under the age of 2, dude, I'm praying for you, my friend. I'm praying for you, 2 boys under the age of 2. Dude, I was on vacation in Greece, and while we were at the villa at Greece, there were 5 couples there. Me and my girlfriend, and then some of her family, right? 2 of these couples had kids under the age of 2. And kids under the age of 2 regularly try to kill themselves at least 15 times per day. And if you don't watch them, if you don't keep them within your eye shot, they're going to die. There, you know, like there was a pool. One of the kids, just like 18 months old, just ran right into the damn pool, you know, and was walking along the side of the pool. And everybody's like, get away from there, get away from there. And she's all smiling and shit, and then just turns around, walks into the pool, tries to drown herself. Like, you see her by the deck chairs. And like, you got the deck chairs where you can kind of lift the back and they'll drop, you know, and like she's putting her head, her throat in between, like where the deck chair is right above it and like where it would come down on her if she were to pull this thing. And you see like she's trying to move the thing so that this thing will come crashing down on her neck, break her neck, and snap it in half. So God bless Papa Chuck. You know, if the kids don't kill you, let's all live and be stronger for what you're doing, raising 2 kids to go out into this world someday. So job bless, man. Best of luck this weekend to you, my man. We got my guy Marcus Williams, Nubian Bookstore from Georgia, here in the house. Always one of my favorite gamblers to have in the room here, enjoying the show. Nubian Bookstore, always good to see you in here, Marcus. Big ups, my man. Good to see you. We got Mike Martin in here saying, God bless the Greasy 4-legger. Let's get it, Mike. Thanks for hanging out. We got D. Spearman saying, I've been working like a madman, 12-hour shifts, says Z. I'm at work right now. I missed your streams. Happy belated birthday, Weezy. Dude, I appreciate you, D. Thanks for checking in from work. That's what the real ones do, brother. And I know that you are one of the real ones. Good to see you in here, my man. We got JP Taylor saying, Basharat could lose his O. Not enough meat on the Lapolis money line yet. Yeah, dude. I'm pissed off about this Lapolis. I'm like, how is he almost plus 250 on the money line? And I have to pay juice for his plus 3.5 points handicap. It's aggravating, but I think that's it does reflect, you know, the gap in between that money line implied probability and the plus 3.5 points probability that this is going to be a close fight, you guys. Very close fight. We got Bob Spikerman's checking in from the Netherlands saying, Weezy, what's up, Bob? We got Colby Saul in the room saying, so pumped to have fights back. It's been a long break. We're back. We're ready to stack them like flapjacks this year, Colby. And my guy, Fight Talk, only in the room saying, what's up, T.O. Weezy? Let's stack these tickets, Unc. Let's get it, my man. Let's see if your Peruvian brother, Gaston Bolaños, can get the job done here. But, yeah, just to recap, you guys, leg 1. Taylor Lapolis plus 3.5 points handicap. Leg 2, Semelsberger Parsons fight doesn't go to decision at minus 200. Leg 3, Waldo Cortez Acosta to win in rounds 1 or 2, minus 140. And we got Manel Kape's money line at minus 290, closing it out where we can kind of hedge out and take the Nicolau side for plus 225 if the first 3 legs cash, and guarantee ourselves a nice little greasy 4-leg parlay to win, to check in 2024 with you guys here. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Thank you for hanging out. Good luck on the fights with all your bets. Let's beat these bookies with a bag of oranges until we juice them. God bless each and every one of you, and let's stack cash tickets like flapjacks for UFC Vegas 84. Talk to you guys later.